All right, we're back. If you're watching this back after the fact, this is part 2. All right, part 1. We streamed for about an hour. Talked about a lot of good stuff, so you want to check it out. And my software crashed, so booted up another stream. The thing is every time I lag, it's not due to internet anymore. I fixed those issues. I pay a lot for internet. But the computer is getting a little older and this crashes, and I'm probably going to switch my software soon, actually, back to something that is a little easier on my computer. So, yeah, apologies for that, but we're going to get into standings. We're going to get into Tankathon on this one. We'll probably go for about 30 more minutes and then call it a night. The Void 8 Eric, the Void 8 Eric, man. But yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the post-game show. What's the alternative to Streamlabs? OBS. Basically, Streamlabs copied OBS, but OBS is a little bit easier on the computer. I just like the interface of Streamlabs a little bit more. But my Streamlabs has been crashing a lot lately, and it's kind of frustrating. So I think it's time to make the change back to OBS, which I used like year 1 because I was streaming on a laptop that couldn't even handle Streamlabs. So yeah. But yeah, we're back. Do you have an external fan? No. I know somebody that's pretty good with computers. Maybe he can hit me up. I know he watches the stream, so maybe I should hit him up to help me out. But yeah, this is part 2. So if you're watching back after the fact, go watch part 1 and then watch this one. Is what I would recommend. If you're just joining us, welcome to the post-game show.
Right in the middle of a good Scoot conversation.
Yeah, it was a good Scoot conversation. Maybe we'll clip a Scoot conversation and post it as a video. We never really clip anything from streams and post it as videos, but maybe we should start doing that. I don't know. Be an easier way to get videos out. So yeah, good Scoot convo. My whole thing, all right, I'm going to get into this, a little bit of a rant here, all right, to reward the people that joined part 2. So there was that article about him lately, calling him one of the least improved players, and it just reeks to me like somebody just looked at the stats and said, like, his stats aren't improved, he's the least improved. Because the writer of this article, I don't know who it is, I forget the name, but, like, are they watching Portland every night? No, definitely not. Like, how much Scoot tape have they watched this year? Right? Really easy to make an article where you just look at his stat line and say, oh, it hasn't improved that much. But, like, his assists are up a little bit. Or at least, like, per 36 assists are up a little bit, and his turnovers are down. His playmaking has improved. His defense has improved. Okay? And he's also a little bit more efficient without being better from the three-point line. Like, his inside-the-arc game has improved. I don't know, man. Like, that's some legit improvement to me. But it's like, what? You expected him to break out into a star year 2 because he was the 3rd overall pick? You know what I mean? Like, all right. That doesn't mean he's one of the least improved players in the league. But the bigger point to me is growth, like, is not linear. We see players all the time where they struggle, takes 4 years, and all of a sudden they, like, have a huge leap, right? Kobe White had a leap like that in his, like, 5th year, where he had a massive leap. And I think the reason for that is just because you start to learn how to, like, in Scoot's case, he's learning how to play a little bit slower, a little bit more methodically. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to statistically translate right away, right? I do think it's translating in terms of him being more efficient inside the arc and his turnovers being down, but it's not, like, translating in a way where it's, like, super noticeable, right? Because the scoring isn't up. But it is a really good thing for him to learn, and when he does figure out when to pick his spots in terms of, you know, knowing when to really accelerate on his drives, like try and beat somebody to the rim, throw his body into someone, and then knows when to play a little slower, play a little bit more methodically, and picks his spots that way. If you couple that with, you know, some improvement upon the three-point shot, then you'll see like a massive leap statistically. Where it's like, wow, look, year 3, he's so much better than he was in year 2. Based on the stats. But if you watched him, it's like, okay, well, no, year 2, he started to play more methodically. He started to pick his spots a little bit better. He started to cut down on his turnovers because of it. He still had the speed. He just still didn't know when to trust it or use it and didn't want to be out of control. He learns when to use it, when to really accelerate, when to use that burst. Because he's very quick. But the thing is, he's not even really playing like it a whole lot right now. That plus some slight improvement in the three-point shot where defenders start to respect him a little bit more, opening up more of his drives. He can already pass the ball. There's also the theory that, okay, if you give him the keys, he might play a little bit better. We saw him play better under Nate Bjorkgren. That's when the people that don't watch him game in, game out would say, wow, he's improved so much. But you could kind of see the pathway. It's just not where it's going to be a linear path statistically. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why you see some guys where it's seems like maybe it came out of nowhere. Wow, these guys improved so much this year compared to the last 3 years. But they're maybe starting to put the pieces together. It just they didn't have the whole puzzle together, so to say, is how I'd phrase that. So, what is that?
You heard that?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some wood log type place a couple blocks behind my house, and they work at night and make loud noise, but that was super loud. Holy crap.
That's really annoying.
Yeah.
You sure that's not something else?
I don't know.
Well,
the boogeyman's coming to get me.
Make sure the boogeyman isn't coming to get you, okay? Wow. Maybe I can talk the boogeyman down with my heart glasses and my hit.
Might as well at this point.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Scoot. We're going to take a look at the standings here in a second, do Tankathon, and then probably wrap up this part 2. We don't have to go for too much longer. We'll be live again on Saturday night.
I forgot to mention, though, in the first stream, Medina had left a member message that said, everyone leave a like or something like that.
Appreciate you, Medina. Leave a like on the second stream, too. If you leave a like on both streams, you're a real one.
Goated.
So Banton's starting to play again, Eric?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's just because of the back-to-back.
Yeah. It's funny because earlier in the season, some Blazer fans were saying, he's untouchable. He's a big part of the core. And then he's not even in the rotation, even though we still suck. And if you look at his numbers on the season, Eric. Okay. True shooting percentage this year, 51.6. He's still very inefficient. He's still an inefficient player. Okay. Now he's averaging 20 points per 36. That was higher at the start of the season, right? So he's cooled off. He's cooled off back to kind of what he was before. His assists are up a little bit per 36, went from 4.4 to 5.7. But his turnovers are up from 2.6 to 3.7. So turnovers are up. 3-point shooting is falling off a cliff. He made his only one today, but before he stopped playing, the reason why he fell out of the lineup is he cooled off. He had a hot streak early in the year, and there was a lot of Blazer fans, unfortunately, that bought into that being who he was. But he's a streaky player. He has the skill set in the size and the fluidity to have some really good games and get it rolling where looks really good. But there's a lot of players like that. You can't buy in too much when it's okay, he's shown these flashes his whole career. He's shown this streakiness, this inconsistency before. All right. It's going to take more than a 10-game sample for me to believe he's somebody different. And I just think that's where people got a little too hyped up with him. Because he's 2 for 6 tonight. I don't know. He had 3 assists, no turnovers. He didn't necessarily play terrible tonight. I think he was pretty bad last game. It's just, I don't know. He gets in. He forces his own shot. There's moments where he just kind of hijacks the offense, but he's not as good as Ant. Not as good as Sharp. So it's why are you hijacking the offense,
I don't know. Kyle Neely told us that
He's better than Ant.
fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a terrible take. It's just a terrible take.
Yeah.
But yeah, in case anybody's confused, the theme is Retro Night. We were supposed to have Rip City Retro on this stream, but he's dealing with the fires down there in LA, so our well wishes are with him and anybody suffering due to those wildfires. So I am embracing the retro vibe. It's a vibe.
And I took it a whole different direction. I thought we meant like retro Blazers somewhere.
My retro Blazers jersey.
My retro Blazer jersey. It's so retro. It's do you know whose jersey this is, Tori?
No, I didn't see the number.
I think I've told you in the past, but it's 31.
Who's that?
Well, you know my disgusting jersey collection.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
Oh,
Does anyone
is it
check?
Telfair?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. At least you're not Connor, who has a Banton jersey and an Archie Diacono jersey. But that's just for the meme. That's funny. He just wants his picture taken by Sean Hyken in the arena. A sneaky picture from the back. Yeah, man, it is creepy. All right, like I chat. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? What tweets I'm talking about? It's weird. I just think it's like, okay, cool, it's a jersey, but like ask permission or something. Like, hey man, that's a cool jersey. Can I take a picture of it and post it on my Twitter? It's weird to like take a picture of somebody without them knowing from like behind them and post it to your Twitter as like a media guy. I just think that's weird. Damn.
What the heck is going on?
You sure you don't want to walk out your back door and like?
Well, I might die tonight now.
Nah, don't die. You need to figure out what that is. So, you're scaring me. You're scaring us.
Dude, does the announcer of the last few games kind of remind you of like a relative of Hyken? Like the way he looks a little bit.
If he was bald, yeah.
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 That's why I said a relative.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Relative.
Oh,
yeah.
I really like this.
I do like this announcer. The lady before him was good too.
Nora.
Yeah. I think she'd be great for the new WNBA team coming up. But the guy commentator right now, he's on some other stuff. Like, I don't know what, but like I've seen him before.
Well, they just said he won like broadcaster of the year in Detroit or something, or in. Oh, he's on the Tigers.
Yeah, I've seen him before doing like something other than the Tigers, though. I don't know what it was. Because I don't watch the Tigers. I've seen him before, though. Like maybe March Madness or something? I don't know. But yeah. Taylor Packer says, I've seen him do the NFL before. Yeah, I think he's done the NFL before. So, yeah, I've seen him before. And a ton of March Madness, yeah. Yeah, he's been around. He's legit. So, do you...
I wonder how they got him, yeah.
Yeah, do you wonder if these are like quietly tryouts because Calabro is going to maybe retire soon?
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I did find myself thinking it would be okay if one of them took over long term. Yeah.
I wonder because it just came out of the blue and it was random. They've never done that before, and it could just be like, okay, he wants to spend time with family, absolutely. But I do wonder if it's like, all right, he's thinking about retiring. They need to like find a replacement, so it's like, all right, let's see who has chemistry with Lamar Hurd on air, and we'll give it's 5-game road trip. Right after the holidays, we'll give Calabro some time off, and why would Calabro complain? So I do wonder if that's the case. That thought has run through my head. When we get Calabro back, it's going to be like fresh again, though. Like it's been so long. But Calabro is starting to really like mess up on names and like Sharp had a drive inside the lane against the Mavericks like before the new year, and it's like Kyrie into the lane, and it's like, no, dude, it's Sharp. Just those slip ups, which is going to happen with age, right? So But yeah, Benetti's good though. I like him. He has good. I think he's for somebody that hasn't worked with Lamar like that. He has pretty good chemistry with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's done a good job. But yeah,
He's like if Jordan Kent wasn't annoying. Like I don't know.
yeah. Like yeah, he doesn't scream "paint it," which is just the worst thing ever.
Because he has like similar mannerisms, but he doesn't like I don't know. It's not like cheesy or as cheesy. Yeah, like, I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his voice is a little bit more made for broadcasting, I think. But maybe that's just all the pain it's ringing throughout my head and thinking, what the hell, man? Because listen, I'm happy about we still get a Cedar Rapids reference, but I'm happy about it's not as bad as it is with Calabro. I'm happy that if Uprise subbed into the game, we probably wouldn't hear him called Big Daddy. Like,
oh no, you'll still hear it.
Like, you're making me hate when Uprise and Chris Murray play, right? And then it's like, how can we do the same thing with the whole Grinch thing? Like, how can we beat that drum to death? You know, the first thing was funny with Lamar, but it's like, once I heard that, I'm like, oh, they're going to run this into the ground. You know, like, stop running this stuff into the ground. We don't need a Cedar Rapids is this far away from freaking London, England. Cool. I don't need a geography lesson about freaking Cedar Rapids every time Chris Murray plays. So, don't like it. And Big Daddy is just weird, man. Like, no man should be calling another man Big Daddy, okay? Or no. I mean, listen, if that's what you're into, I don't judge. But it's just weird on a
come on, man.
It's weird on a broadcast, okay? It's just weird on a broadcast.
But it's Big Daddy Reith.
God, Eric. I hate it. It makes me cringe, man. It's just weird. It's weird. Okay? It's weird. But hey, if you like it, I'm glad you like calling him Big Daddy. Anyway.
Colt says Calabro still hasn't called playoff Blazers since the Dame OKC game winner. What, he wasn't the announcer when we played the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Or was that wait, he took that year off. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that was Jordan Kent, huh? Yeah, that was the Jordan Kent year.
Yeah, and then there was the bubble.
Yeah. Clingan played crunch time minutes, played more than Ayton, Eric. 4 for 4, made his only 3, love to see that. 2 for 3 from the free throw line, 11 points, 11 boards, a couple of blocks. Good to see him have a good game, given his struggles recently. Of course,
it was because of his rest, yes.
Yeah, after a day of rest. But nice to see him have a good game, and it was cool to see him play more than Ayton, because Ayton's effort in this one was pretty freaking bad at times. There was a clip that 503 posted, like, I'm just tired of seeing this dude, like, stand there and, like, watch the rebound, and then, like, he, like, barely even tries to go for it, so somebody, like, else on the other team grabs it, and then they'll miss a shot, and he turns and stands there and watches the shot, and it's like he's not even moving. He's just standing in place. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go to Twitter, check my quote tweets, okay? And basically what I said is, I'll find the tweet. Because this is really, like, how it is for me, okay? So our guy 503 tweeted out this clip where DeAndre Ayton is just, like, standing there watching people rebound the ball in front of him. With the quote, the DeAndre Ayton experience. And I quote tweeted, I said, dude's effort is so bad and people act like I want to hate on this dude. Nah, he just makes it too easy and this is BS. It's just like plays like that piss me off, man. Like, I don't care. I don't care who it is. If it's like, if Denny did that once, okay, I'm not going to get that bad because he's always playing hard. Okay? He's always playing hard. Like, that is such an outlier for somebody like Denny. The problem is we see stuff like this all the time from DA, and it's super frustrating, and it's annoying, man. And it's like seeing that clip and how bad we've rebounded recently with DA on the floor, and then it's like, oh, look, Clingan plays more minutes than him. I wonder if that had something to do with that. You know?
Hmm. I was just glad to see Clingan moving better tonight. I think that's all that matters. But yeah, I mean, you were very early on this, and I agreed with you, but um, I think you can see, obviously not when Clingan can't move and when he's
Yeah.
looking all slow on the court, but when he looks like he did tonight, I mean, it's clearly more impactful in a game than Ayton could be.
Yeah. Yeah, he's more solid. Like when he can't move, he struggles, but he's a better defender. He does a better job of keeping opposing teams off the glass. Okay. His 3-point shooting is better, you know? Um, and he's not like reliant upon hitting tough mid-range jumpers to be effective offensively. He sets better screens. All that stuff's valuable, man. All that stuff matters. So, yeah, happy to see Clingan playing well. I just, can they get an expiring for Ayton? Is there any team out there that would trade an expiring for Ayton? Or expirings for Ayton?
Well, I think there might be, but it's going to be hard.
I just don't know who. Chicago if they trade Vucevic. We'll take a look at the standings right now. Okay. Let's just take a look at the East first. All right.
Taylor, I'm assuming, is talking about Clingan. Do you think his 3-point shot is legit?
I think it could be one day. I think he's made enough this year. It's a small sample, but it's not like he's coming in and literally can't make a three, and it's not like he's coming in and airballing a bunch of threes. Like, his misses aren't that bad. So it gives me hope that one day he can be, Brook Lopez from three. Like, maybe not that volume, but Brook Lopez didn't shoot threes like the first 8-9 years of his career, and now look at him. So I do have the hope that he can be a legit 3-point shooter one day.
Yeah, I think he can be legit, but I don't think it'll ever be on high volume. I think, shooting an occasional one is fine. I don't think he's ever going to shoot like 4 or 5 a game, though.
Yeah.
That's all right with me.
But the way the NBA is going, man.
True.
You never would have thought Brook Lopez would be shooting as many threes as he does a game. So, that's, I don't know.
I almost trust his 3-point shot more than any other shot he shoots. It's so bad, other than dunks, obviously.
Clingan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, his touch around the rim needs to be worked on. But yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see the flashes of it, and it's like, it's funny because Edie was the same way, where didn't shoot threes in college, and then in these workouts before the draft is draining threes, and I sat here with Clingan and Edie, and it's like, I don't buy it at all. Edie's come in and started 9 for 23 from 3. That's almost 40%, and his shot looks good, right? And he does have decent touch. He's a good free throw shooter. He has good touch on his hook shots. It's all right, well, I mean, at this point, start 9 for 23, you got some touch with Edie. Why would I not believe that he could turn into somebody that can consistently shoot threes? He might already be somebody that can shoot a 3 a game and make a good enough percentage to justify it. So the workout tape, I think, was maybe a little bit more legitimate than we realized. Clingan shooting a worse percentage, but Clingan shooting better from 3 than I would have thought. Ayton's 21%. I would have thought Ayton would be the guy at 30%, not Clingan.
Yeah.
So, it's Clingan is probably already better than Ayton at shooting threes. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after his 1 for 1 today, Clingan is now 6 for 19, which is 32%.
Yeah.
32%. That's better than Sharp. No,
I really want to read this Gray Hughes Investigates comment, but
okay.
He's shadow banned, so.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, we shot him. We're not
Is
supposed
that?
to.
Don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I can't read that
You're
saying
you're peeking under the shadow.
that they need to limit the only first 33 pointers as 3 points, and then after that you only get 2 points.
No, it's gimmicky.
Yeah.
It's gimmicky. You would rather teams shoot long twos than threes, Gray? Is it more entertaining to see a 19-footer that's a 2-pointer than a 3-pointers are gimmicky? How? How are 3-pointers
Back
gimmicky?
in my day, there was no 3-point line. Um, you can have your own opinion, but I watch like old games where there's no 3-point line, and I
It's
don't know,
ugly. It's ugly. Like teams just
two-handed set shot from like 15 feet. Like
yeah, it's not. But also, it's like back when the league couldn't shoot, back when you would have like two non-shooting bigs on the floor, like defenses would just wall off against a guy. And like I was watching through footage and like people talking about this. There was so many more plays in the past where it's like nobody would respect these non-shooting bigs, right? Because they can't shoot threes, and you'll live with them shooting 18-footers, but they would shoot freaking 18-footers. And it's like, so their defenders would completely leave them and just wall off against a star and just completely pack the paint, super cluttered. And there would be a lot of possessions that would just completely die because of it. And then you'd give it to a freaking guy like, I don't know, Carl Landry, and then he's shooting an 18-footer. And it's like, oh, now those guys can shoot threes and attack closeouts. So there's a lot more threes, and the paint's more open, so like cuts and ball movement is actually easier. Yet we complain about the 3-point attempts. It's not entertaining enough. Like I don't get it. I do not get it.
Well, once again, it's shadow banned, so I can't see this. But it says I like having 3-pointers, just not every time down the court, jacking up 63s a game.
It's not every time
So,
down the court. It's like half the time. It's like 50-50.
Well, I just went to look at team 3-point attempts per game. Boston is by far first. They're 6 attempts more than second place, and they're at 49.8. And so second is 43.7. That is almost, 2/3 of what you're saying they're shooting per game.
Yeah, there was 181 shots in this game, and 76 were threes. That is... No, 66 were threes. 66 divided by 181. So 36% of the shots in this game were threes. Okay, in the past, like teams shoot a lot less long twos. Teams shoot more threes and less long twos. I don't really understand the argument that long twos are more entertaining than threes. And defenses being able to completely clog things up and shut down the paint and just wall off and like not even respect players on the floor because they just hang out around the 3-point line, or you have like two bigs in the paint, which is just a cluster, you know what, right? I don't understand why that's more entertaining. I just don't get it. Like I just don't get it. So
Someone else had a suggestion or saw a suggestion to take away the quarter 3-point shot.
I mean, if you want to mess with the 3-point line, widen the court and move it back a little bit. Okay? But, like, did you know that, like, shots around the rim, the efficiency is up because of the spacing? So now it's like teams work for layups or threes, and then, like, you have some of the best scorers that strategically use mid-range in a way to, like, open up things, right? It's not like you used to have more mid-range because it's like you had bigs that weren't comfortable shooting threes, but you couldn't just park them all in the paint, so they'd hang out like above the free throw line, and then like they get the ball, and it's like, oh, nothing to do. Guess I'll shoot this freaking 16 to 18 footer. I just don't understand why people find that more entertaining at all. I just don't get it. But you're entitled to your opinion. If you find that more entertaining, then so be it. Like, okay, I just don't get it personally. Like, I just don't understand it.
He's saying he doesn't like changing it, like the corner thing, because it affects the history of the three
I
point.
mean, the line's changed before,
But
though, so if...
well, but how is limiting how many three pointers you can make
Yeah,
not changing history?
yeah. Yeah, that's doing it even more, right?
Oh,
Because the best
Steph
shooters would
Curry, you now
adjust.
only have 600 threes instead of 900 threes in your career or something, you know? Like,
Yeah, because you were past the limit, you know what I mean? So, um, but I don't think ball movement is worse than it was in the past. Like, that's the thing is there's a comment, I just like ball movement and going for layups in the main option. Like, I think there's more layups from ball movement than there was in the 80s or 90s. I watch that basketball and it's just like clunky and just kind of stagnant. And you give the ball to Jordan and like he'd make something happen, but I don't think ball movement was any better. Now it's like you see offenses that run 5 out, they'll hit a cutter, so defense will help. They'll kick it out to the corner, defense will rotate, they'll kick it towards the top of the line, and then that guy will attack a closeout. So then somebody will help off the opposite corner, so then they'll kick out to that corner. It's an open corner three, and then people sit there and say like, "Oh, I don't like how many threes they shoot. I want more ball movement, layups, and that sort of thing." It's like the spacing opens up opportunities for layups, and teams will help off 3-point shooters, and you're put in a position where defenses have to try and like pick their poison and really rotate. And it's like, all right, can you rotate and cover both? I think it's fun to watch good defenses try and do that. Um, so I don't really understand the distaste. But
um,
anyway, we can move on.
no, I have a question before we move
Okay, go
on.
on.
So, Tori and Gray Hughes, anyone else who wants to answer. What team is credited, or in this case, maybe discredited, in your opinion, Gray, uh, as the team that made it, or like the reason why this 3-point shooting came to be like this? Does that question make sense? Like, what team is associated with why the NBA shoots a bunch of threes now?
See, I feel like the answer you're looking for is Golden State, but the real answer is Houston.
Yeah, but I mean, it was.
Houston
I think
led the
most
league
people
in
will say it.
like many years that Golden State was like the team
Yeah.
revolutionizing, where like Houston would
Okay.
actually shoot more, and they were like Daryl Morey analytics ball, where they like did not shoot mid range; it was threes or
Uh-huh.
layups.
Okay. So Gray Hughes says Warriors, which is what I was wondering if that's what he would say. So, but not the current Warriors. So let's go back to the championship Warriors. Okay. So, first year of the championship. Do you know what they ranked in assists in the league, Tori?
Probably right up there near the top. They were always one of the best ball movement teams.
Year of their first championship, they ranked first in
Yep.
assists. The 73 win season, the next year, I know they didn't win the championship, but do you know where they were ranked that year?
I mean, at the top, yeah.
First,
Yeah.
yeah. Next year, they add Durant, shoot, a bunch of threes. They averaged 4.5 more assists than the second place team, and yeah. So I think you're making an argument that doesn't necessarily make sense, because you can you can open up the court with 3-point shots to make ball movement better if you're a smartly coached team and a well run, you have the players to do it. Like, you can use 3-point shooting to open up the middle of the court for passes and getting easier baskets. And so I think the problem is not the 3-point shooting. It's that so many teams don't know how to effectively use spacing, or teams that do it don't even have good shooters like the Blazers.
Yeah.
They shoot way too many threes for how little shooting they have. And so I think that's the problem, more so than, 3-point shooting ruins ball movement. No, I think it could actually make the game a lot more fun and a lot more beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
But like, it's just there's not enough teams that know how to properly utilize it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. For sure. For sure. And I don't know. It's kind of so. Gray had a comment like, "Oh, I'd play pickup ball in a 3-on-1 fast break, and both guys would flare out to three." I mean, how often do you see NBA teams do that? You don't.
Well,
Like teams know how to run a 3-on-1 fast break. Like every time the Blazers run a 3-on-1 fast break, they're getting to the rim. Like it's. I don't think it's that bad, right? And if you're playing with two guys that do that, they don't know how to play basketball, man. Because
I mean, Ant shot a three on a fast break today, but like,
yeah, but it's
I
not
mean,
like clear advantages where like you just cut and easily get a layup. You know
yeah.
what I mean? I play pickup ball with guys, man, and when we run breaks, man, I'll play with some guys that love to shoot, but we ain't running to the 3-point line. Like we're running to the rim if we can. So I don't know who Gray is playing basketball with, but yeah, that
But
would annoy me. I just don't think that's like a thing in the NBA.
correct me if it's different where you play, Gray, but Tori, like any place you play pickup, don't you do ones and twos, not twos and threes?
I mean, my rec league, we play 2s and 3s.
I mean, not like a league.
But
Like league's different. I'm talking about like if we just like when we go to the park and play a game against like random people, we're playing ones and twos
Yeah.
usually, right?
Yeah, so you're overvaluing the 3 basically.
The 3-point shot counts as twice as much.
as
So
much
like
instead of-
yeah, so like
yeah.
you probably should have like pull it from fast break on a 3-pointer because it just becomes what team hits more threes. It's really hard to score 11 baskets with in a row, all 2-pointer or all like 1-pointers. So
yeah.
I would say like maybe that it's more that than just people being dumb or something.
But like 3-on-2, man, if you have one guy cut and one guy space out, you're making that second defender make a choice, right? So it's like 3-on-2 fast breaks. I don't necessarily view it as like both guys on the wing should be cutting to the rim, because if you're cutting to the same spot, then the top defender in the 3-on-2 can take away the ball because you got to guard the ball, and then the bottom one can just contest whoever gets the ball cutting to the rim, right? And like you can always hit one side and they can touch pass to the other side, right? But it's like defenders can try and read that. So I don't think if you're a good shooter and you got somebody cutting to the rim, okay, you get a wide open 3 as a good shooter. Like I think that's a fine shot, especially because it's easier to rebound in offensive transition. I think like 3-on-1, obviously, like you just cut to the rim because you only got one defender. So yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at the standings. Eastern Conference standings. Okay. Wanted to pull these up. We were having the conversation about like who could trade for Ayton, right? But Chicago, if they trade Vucevic, it sounds like Chicago is maybe finally set on rebuilding. Philadelphia is going to pass them up. I think the bottom 5 teams at the end of the year, I think you already have a clear-cut bottom 4 with Brooklyn, Charlotte, Toronto, and Washington. Brooklyn is 4 games out of a play-in, right? So you do got a tier there, and then Charlotte, Toronto, and Washington are 4 games or more behind Brooklyn. Philadelphia finally healthier, like they'll find their way in. Right? I think the question is, and this is a question we've asked, right? Which team gets in the play-in between Chicago and Detroit? But Detroit is looking better. They did lose Jaden Ivey, but I think it's going to be Detroit. I think it's going to be Detroit, Eric. Because if the Bulls trade Vucevic, which is like the rumor right now, they're going to be worse. Detroit is going to... Maybe, they're young, right? So they're not looking to sell. If anything, they would look to maybe add some talent to try and make it into the top 8, to make it into a first-round playoffs by winning a play-in game. So I think at the end of the day, you're going to have Philadelphia replace Chicago in the top 10. I think the 9-10 play-in game will be Atlanta versus Detroit. And I think the 7 versus 8... I don't know. You do have Miami if they trade Jimmy Butler. Like, what happens to Miami? Okay. So I think the 9-10 play-in game, you will have 2 of Atlanta, Detroit, and Miami. And then the 7-8, you will have the other one. And then, who knows, probably Philadelphia, maybe Indiana, maybe Milwaukee, maybe Orlando if they can't get healthy, But Paulo's about to return tomorrow, so... That's the way I think the East plays out. And I think the way this pertains to the Blazers, right? I had the idea like, man, Chicago has been hesitant to rebuild. It would make sense to trade Vucevic, but maybe they wouldn't want to fully enter a rebuild, and maybe they'd be willing to like replace Vucevic with Ayton and try and go for a playing spot. But I'm starting to believe that's increasingly unlikely. So, is there a team on this graphic that you think would be interested in Ayton? At all?
I mean, it's tough because it's hard to see a team just being like, oh yeah, we need Ayton. But I still think he's young enough to fit, like, justify some of these timelines. So I don't think Detroit would. I think they would look at different positions first.
Yeah.
Or like a backup type center, not necessarily like a starting type center. But man, I don't see any team above them going for him.
Yeah.
But the two teams below them, Hawks and Bulls, I don't know. I could see them being like, oh, we're like the Hawks have had moments where they've looked like they're kind of figuring things out or they're looking really good. I know Jalen Johnson's been out recently, so that's hurt them. But I do. A part of me wants to, like, maybe it's just wishful thinking, but like a part of me thinks, man, if you trade like Capella and Nance for Ayton, like that might be something they look at.
Why would they view Ayton as better than Capella?
I mean, Capella's getting up there in age. I think he's in his 30s now, right? So like maybe they're just like, oh, Ayton's a lot closer to Trae Young's. They're from the same draft and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but it's like they've had a Kongwu who they drafted like 5th or 6th overall, and they just have refused to trade Clint Capella.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously they like Capella enough to keep him ahead of a Kongwu for years after drafting a Kongwu at like, what, 6th overall or whatever it was? 5th, 7th, somewhere in that range? So that's where I'm just like, man, if they trade Capella, I feel like it's to start a Kongwu. It's not to bring in a replacement in front of a Kongwu. And Capella's been decent enough this year. You know, he's just solid. He's more solid than Ayton. Also, Larry Nance Jr. has, when he's played, he's injured right now, so... But when he's played this year, Larry Nance Jr. has been pretty good, and he's a good locker room guy for them, so... I have a hard time seeing that. And then the Bulls, if they like actually embrace the rebuild, you know, why would they trade for Ayton? That's where I struggle with this.
Yeah.
But Larry Nance Jr., he's played in 15 games. He's shooting 52% from 3, 58% from the field, and 87% from the free throw line. Just like wildly efficient in the 15 games that he's played for them. He also shot 41% from 3 last year. Larry Nance Jr. is a sniper now.
Mark Williams has been really good when he's healthy, but he gets hurt again. Maybe the Hornets are just like, we need to do something else at center. Yeah, maybe. I mean,
but the thing is they have Nick Richards, who's solid enough.
Yeah.
Like, they would be more likely, I feel like, to go and get a third string that could play some backup center.
Maybe.
Before they tie up money in Ayton. Because, like, Nick Richards is... You know, plays in 21 minutes a game. So per 36, 15.6 points, 13 boards, 2.2 assists, 2.2 blocks. Right? Shooting percentage of 61.7, so more efficient. Defensively, he's, I think, a little bit more solid maybe than Ayton. He's far cheaper, so it's like, all right, you bring an Ayton ahead of him. Maybe Charlotte does it, but I think it would be because they value his scoring too much. Like, that's what you got to hope for as a team. Like, likes the way Ayton shoots the mid-range shot and trades for that.
Yeah. Those Dallas says Hornets would draft a center. They did just draft Salon over both Clingan and Edie when they had a chance.
Yeah, and Salon is a project.
Yeah. Yep.
On the season. Like, he's played in 31 games. They've been playing him 19 minutes a game, right? So on a rebuilding Charlotte team that's had some injuries, he's gotten some time. He's shooting 32% from the field and 28% from three.
Mm-hmm.
He was always a long-term project. So can they turn him into something? Maybe he can play some small ball five. I don't know. But like, if they get really bad lottery luck and somehow end up at like 7 or 8, maybe that's the start of the range for like an Ace Newell. That could be like a 4 or 5. I don't know. It's just tough to see. Shout out Great Heroes Investigates 5 donation says, thanks for reading my shadow ban comment. By the way, I remember the first season the 3-pointers were in the NBA and Rick Barry was still playing. Thank you, Gray, for the $5 donation. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, and then I know they had like a period of time where they shortened the line to get teams to shoot more threes, and then they extended it out again. But yeah, I just think there's bigger issues facing the NBA than 3-pointers. I think refing is one of them. I just think there's much bigger problems if you think the NBA has problems. Like, I think there's just other things you could point to that matter more. And then shout out Emma Lom with a $2 donation says, are the Blazers tanking? Day one supporter from New York. No, I don't think so. I mean, they've been competitive in all these games, and they won a couple of them, so they're not doing a good job of tanking if they are tanking. But let's look at the let's talk about the top. So Cleveland's run away with the 1 seed, Eric. They're 6 games up on Boston, which is crazy. You got Boston, New York, kind of in a tier with themselves, and then there's a fall off to like the pack. You got 2.5 games separating 4 and 9, and 4 is Orlando, who has been decimated by injuries to their stars, and still 4th. Who's their coach again?
Who's?
Orlando? I'm blanking. He's a newer guy, right?
Jamal Mosley.
Yeah, Mosley. What can Jamal Mosley do, man? His stars are injured. Like, look at the injury report. Look at the team that he's having to put out there on the floor. What can he do, man? He had
Banton back tomorrow.
All year. He has Franz hurt, too. Jalen Suggs has been hurt off and on. What can he do, man? It's impossible to win games, I mean, he's 22-17, but what? He's 4th in the East, but what can he do, man? That's my impersonation of everybody that would excuse everything for Terry Stotts in the past when he would have a 8th and a 7th man injured. Orlando's doing it without their 2 freaking stars. Yeah, they're losing a few more games, of course, because you're going to, but they're still competitive and they're still able to win some games. They're still 4th in the East. So, no excuses for them. They're still 4th.
I apologize to the Magic. I haven't believed in them when players got hurt. But then every time I pick them to win, that's the bet. Yeah.
I can't pick anything. Dude, I cannot go above 500. I just cannot pick games. Listen, chat. If you want to make some money, check out BetUS and bet the opposite of what I pick in Picks Against the Spread. That's a stream that we do on our second channel. Okay, fade me. All right? And pick the opposite. Because I suck. Anyway. Take a look at the West, and then we'll do Tinkathon. And then, Eric, I'm starting to have daydreams about the Houston Rockets trade I showed on stream last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Just juicy expiring contracts.
Yeah.
I like juicy expiring contracts. All right? The West... Houston beat Memphis today. Memphis is won every game recently, and then the time I doubled down on them, they lose to freaking Houston. So when they were healthy too, it's like you win all these games when you're decimated by injuries, but there's nothing you can do. And then you're healthy and you lose. So Houston beat Memphis today. Houston in second place, 25-12. Man, 25-12, man. It's crazy. Look at these 2 teams at the top of the West, Eric. And just think back to 3 years ago. Just think back to 3 years ago. OKC and Houston at the top of the West. I remember when we were predicting our standings, and those were always the two teams at the bottom. Hopefully Portland can be that next team. But I don't know. Maybe it's Utah. Maybe Utah will be good in 2 years. Who knows? Man. But got Denver there at 4. I mean, 4 on down, it's... You got a lot of teams in the middle of the pack, Eric, without much separation from like 4 on down in each conference. Okay? There's only 2.5 games separating 4th and 9th in the West. There's only 3.5 games separating 4th and 11th. There's only 4 games separating 4th and 12th. So the good news for the Blazers is maybe you have a lot of buyers at the deadline, and you can take advantage of that with the market for Jeremy Grant, maybe DeAndre Ayton. We got the Lakers there. Dallas, despite their injuries, still 5th. It's going to be interesting to see how these standings play out because, man, your 12th place team is only 2 games below 500. You could legitimately see 12 teams have a winning record in the West, which is wild. Which is wild stuff. So hopefully they beat up on the Blazers. I don't know. But any teams on this? Any teams in the West for DeAndre Ayton? The Lakers maybe, but actually, if the Lakers, I mean, if the Lakers don't want to trade their first-round picks, because they didn't trade a first-round pick for Dorian Finney-Smith, and they haven't traded their first-round picks in the past couple of years, could their solution be DeAndre Ayton?
Do you want to take on a contract or two that's longer than 2 years?
Because they're not going to trade Rui for him, so you'd have to take on Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt. Gabe Vincent's 2 years, but Jared Vanderbilt's like 4. And he's perpetually injured. And I don't know. Maybe you can...
I think they might have to trade Rui.
But I don't think they're going to trade him for DA.
No, but I'm saying you could add up contracts, but I think their cap situation, then they'd have to sign a bunch of people. I think they are one of those teams where they might have to include him if they did it. So,
you know what's interesting? 3-team trade. DA to the Lakers. The Blazers get back Gabe Vincent, which sucks. But the Lakers also send out Jared Vanderbilt, but not to the Blazers. Okay? I don't know if this works under the new CBA, but Jared Vanderbilt gets traded for Maxi Kleber.
Vanderbilt to the
Mavericks. For Maxi Kleber.
We did Thibault instead.
Yeah, I mean maybe Thibault is there, but I could see that type of team being willing to yeah, we'll see if Vanderbilt can be healthy. He can be like a long, versatile defender that can help us in the playoffs.
There you go, Colton Dodd, our resident Mavericks fan who just found us tonight.
Hell yeah.
He said I'd take Mando for Maxi.
Yeah, and then Maxi's an expiring contract, so the Blazers, Vanderbilt doesn't really have a place on this team. You send him to Dallas and you get back an expiring contract, you get back Gabe Vincent. Now, the Lakers also have to trade out another contract, so I don't know what the hell that would be, but... That would maybe be your most realistic DA trade. And maybe you can get back, I don't know if the Lakers, how many seconds they have left, but maybe you can get back a second or two.
They don't have any.
No, they don't have any. Maybe you can get back a couple of seconds from the Mavericks for Vando. And you can sit there and say, see, we got some second-round picks. Yay, some second-round picks.
Kleber still has another year on his contract.
Does he? I thought he was expiring. You sure?
No. It says 25, 26, so same. It's $11 million for 3 years. They signed in 2023.
I thought he was expiring.
Doesn't say non-guaranteed or anything. Yeah.
He's not expiring. Never mind. Well, I would still maybe
It's
take
still
that.
it's still better. It's still better.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you save some money and get back a couple second round picks and clear a runway. Like that's my best hope for a Ayton trade is like we get back Maxi Kleba and Gabe Vincent. I just like what other teams on the West here other than the Lakers because the Lakers just don't have enticing contracts, which is maybe why they would be willing to take on Da. What other teams are there though? Minnesota has Gobert and Naz Reid. Dallas has Lively and Gafford. Right? Like Denver doesn't need them. They have Jokic. Memphis has Zach Edey, Jay Huff, Jaren Jackson Jr. can play some five. Santi Aldama has been good this year. He's a 7-footer that plays more 4 than 5, but can play some 5. Like, you know, why would Memphis need him? Houston has Şengün. OKC has Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren and big man Jalen Williams. Like, none of those teams interested. The Clippers, like, it's not even possible to make a trade work, and Zubac is better. The Warriors... You're muted, by the way.
Tough to match. Warriors.
Is it?
I mean, they have, like, Wiggins and stuff, but, like...
They can't get there with, like, Kyle Anderson. Well, yeah, after the Melton trade. I keep viewing it in the context of, like, they have DeAnthony Melton they can attach, but now it's Dennis Schroeder, and they can't combine them. So, like, yeah, GP 2 weeks, Looney and Kyle Anderson is 26 mil.
Yeah, but they're a hard cap, so and they're up right up against the line, I think.
So according to would 26 mil wouldn't even match 34, so they have to trade out another small contract, and they're hard capped at the first apron. You said,
yeah,
because of what?
Sign a trade for Heald.
Oh, they signed and traded for Heald. Okay.
That's a lot of teams like Clippers, Dallas, Golden State, Sacramento. A lot of teams that are hard cap.
Yeah. So no to Golden State. I mean, Sacramento. Like, could they view him as a fit next to Sabonis somehow? They have no backup center. Too. Do they though? Like, they're not going to go into the tax of $4 million below. Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles is 25, so you need to get to 30. Devin Carter.
But they still need to sign 2 people then.
Yeah. I mean, well, would they trade Keegan Murray for Ayton? Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Okay, so no to Sacramento. Phoenix.
No.
There's no spot for him anywhere. There's no spot for him anywhere. We're going to be stuck with him.
Chat's been talking a lot about the Pelicans, but
look at their record,
as we've talked about so many times, it basically requires them trading out Ingram, and I don't think it makes sense to not just pay Ingram, but trade for Ayton.
And they got Yves Missy, who's been really good as a rookie. Like, why would they want to block him with Ayton? Or why would they want to pay Ayton that much to bring him off the bench?
Yeah, I don't think they would.
And they're 7-31. Like, there's truthfully no landing spot for him. There just isn't.
I still think one of those teams that he's could, but yeah, I don't think it's likely.
But who? Who could even be like possible that might, even if it's a stretch, be able to trade for him and like there's a universe out there where they'd want him?
I like Taylor's comment. Why would any team want to block their promising rookie pick with 8?
Yeah, man. Not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
What team would be stupid enough to do that?
Why are you trading Ayton? Oh, we got this young rookie center that we like. Okay, but we have a young rookie center that we like that's a top 3 rookie this year. Yeah, but we like this rookie center because Ayton taught him everything he knows. How much is that? Oh, well, he taught him how to not box out and stand and watch rebounds. Yeah, cool.
So he didn't know that when he won 2 championships.
Yeah. No, I mean, does all the little things, and Ayton does all the big things, I guess. But he doesn't do big man things.
He taught him how to dominate.
Yeah, dominate. Yeah, he dominate and taught him how to dominate. All right. He can teach Eves Missy to dominate. All right. But I just like, what are these teams in a universe there might be a chance they would trade for Ayton? Like, okay, throw Atlanta in there. Okay, throw Chicago if they don't want to go full rebuild. Like, maybe it's just a short tank and they want to be competitive next year after trading Vucevic. All right, those 2 teams. Who else?
So Colton says, guys, to be fair, the Mavs traded for Gafford and went on a run to the finals, even though Lively was having an amazing rookie year. Yeah, that is true, but Gafford also made, $11 or $12 million last year. Like, it's a lot easier to trade for that. Aiden makes 3 times as much as him.
And he's an energy big. Ayton is not an energy big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of the problem. He takes plays off and makes a max contract and would be unhappy coming off the bench. His attitude is inconsistent. You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of things that Gafford isn't. That's why Gafford's good. So, yeah, it's bad. So the only other team I would even throw, like, because we're stretching here, okay? We're stretching. But just like, maybe out of left field, a team we don't expect, all right? What could those teams be, all right? Atlanta, Chicago, Toronto. If they trade, they trade Pirtle and they want a center to fit their timeline. Like.
What? I don't know if they have the contracts either.
Well, it would be a 3-team trade with Pirtle to a team, and then
not Toronto. I was trying to think of another team.
Oh.
Like if Utah traded Walker Kessler, like, that seems like such a weird fit, but I don't know.
Why would they trade Walker? Why?
Well, there's been talk about.
Yeah, I feel like he's the new Miles Turner.
Yeah, that's right. They might not trade him, but yeah.
And I just think if they trade him, it's not to bring in a setter. It's like maybe to put Collins at the 5 and Markkanen at the 4 because John Collins has been pretty good this year.
Yeah, I'm not saying they would be interested in getting a center. I'm just saying, like, maybe.
Do you think
I was trying to think of like a left
is,
field.
Yeah. Do you think them or Toronto is more realistic or possible?
Well, I don't see either team.
I don't either, but like,
the GM wanting that. I would say. Actually, I'll say Toronto just because I feel like they have some contracts to match, especially if they did trade Pirtle, and so I think they could justify it for like 2 years.
Yeah. Washington maybe trade Valanciunas, but it's like, okay, do they want to keep Sarr at the 4? Probably depends on who they draft this year, but Washington's smart office. Their front office has been doing smart things, though. Their old front office, maybe, but their new front office seems to kind of know what they're doing, and I don't see them valuing Ayton because they seem to be going full in with like a very youthful rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, I think you can point at like bottom feeders and like maybe they view him as a young enough piece to fit their core and replace their older center that they'd trade out, right? Like for Valanciunas or Pirtle or Vucevic or Capella, right? But I don't know. I think the three options where I wouldn't be like, what the hell, where I wouldn't be completely floored, are Atlanta, Chicago, and then like an even more of a stretch, Toronto. But I really just think like the only teams that would actually go for him potentially are Chicago and Atlanta. But both those have big ifs. I think at the end of the day, I think it's more likely that no teams are interested in him than there is a single team that's interested in him. I think it's more likely that he has zero interest.
Yeah, I mean,
And I would love to be wrong. Okay, look at my sunglasses; they have hearts. All right, I would love to be wrong, but
I mean, there's a reason why we got him and Tamani for
a guy that's
a
been benched and a guy that's been cut and another guy that's been cut. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we'll just tankathon. But I think the thing that's tough is like if he didn't play the same position as Rob Will, it'd be like, okay, can you attach him to Rob Will where a team like values Robert Williams and then like doesn't mind having Ayton then because they like Robert Williams, so then you can still like extract a little bit of value and attach Ayton to a Rob Will. But they play the same position. So that's not really a thing unless a team has a need for two centers, and if they need two centers, they're probably not good. There's like no team in the league I can think of that needs two centers for a playoff run.
Yeah.
So, like maybe if Jared Allen got injured and Cleveland wanted to keep Mobley at the 4, but how do you make the contracts work is the biggest thing, man. So, anyway. That's that. Tankathon time, and then we'll wrap up the stream. All right. Big Eric again. Big Eric.
Let's go.
Portland is now in a...
Well, while I have you here.
Well, Tankathon's already up.
Oh, darn it.
Sorry.
I was going to ask if anyone's hiring, but...
Would you still ask if anyone's hiring? Brooklyn and Portland in a 2-way tie for 6th place. So Portland has 34.5% chance at the top 4 and an 8.2% chance of the number 1 overall pick. Can we get up to 5? At least get the number 1%, the number 1 chance into the double digits. That'd be cool. But
Sorry, someone needs to hire me that understands my time commitment to Blazers Uprise so that I could make every stream and do videos and stuff and not have that. And they'd be like, oh, no, we understand you have to leave at 3:15 today to make a stream, like.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
If you want, don't do that.
Yeah. Hire this man. Great culture setter. Hard work. This is my referral. All right, let's just simulate this thing, and hopefully we get more luck than we have previously. But also, I don't know if I want them to get the number 1 overall pick right now, because then people would think that like these glasses and this headband is good luck and would want me to wear it on lottery day. So we'll see. We will see. All right. At 14, Golden State. At 13, San Antonio via Atlanta. At 12, Sacramento. At 11, Houston via Phoenix. Who moved up?
That's Sacramento.
No, Sacramento's at 12.
All right. San Antonio.
Alrighty. At
The
10.
Spurs could capture the flag.
Oh, God. At 10 is Chicago. At 9 is OKC via Philadelphia. At 8, I think it's supposed to be Portland. Because once he moved up in Portland was like 7th in that two-way tie. At 8 is your Portland Trail Blazers. I'm tired of this, Eric. I'm tired of it, man. We can't get good luck. Hopefully we're saving it, I guess. At 7 is Brooklyn. At 6 is Utah. And at 5 is Charlotte.
So we have our top three, Toronto, New Orleans, and Washington, all staying in the top three, and San Antonio adds great.
They don't need more lottery luck, man. Disgusting. At 4 is Toronto. I need to slide this up a little bit more. Toronto's at 4. San Antonio's top 3. At 3 is Washington. Oh, God. Honestly, it's already screwed because Dylan Harper with Wembanyama would be a nightmare.
Castle and Harper.
Oh, man. At number 2 is the New Orleans Pelicans, which means the number 1 pick goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
Rigged!
Oh,
NBA
God.
so rigged.
They want Cooper Flag with Wembanyama.
They want the Spurs. They want that San Antonio market.
Disgusting stuff. Like, everything is chalk, and then you get San Antonio. I will curse out the live stream if San Antonio gets the number 1 pick or top 2 pick and the Blazers move down. Like, you already got freaking Wemby. You don't need Cooper Flag. We need Cooper Flag, man.
We just root for San Antonio to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would enjoy watching Wemby in the playoffs. That'd be fun.
And Atlanta, if you move up and give San Antonio,
Oh, God.
what if San Antonio got top 2 picks?
I mean,
That'd be so insane.
that'd be wild. Then I would not complain if somebody calls it rigged, because what the hell, man? How are you that lucky? But yeah, we need something like this. Give me this, man. Give me this. Okay. Portland number 2. You take Dylan Harper. Although maybe Brooklyn would take Dylan Harper.
I was going to say, I wonder if they would.
Yeah. Nah, you, well, they have Cam Thomas. I was going to say you trade Simons number 2 for number 1. Doesn't really make sense, though. But yeah, give me Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper, Shaden Sharp backcourt of the future is intriguing, man. I like that. Honestly, one of Scoot and Simons, Dylan Harper, Sharp, Avdia, Clingan. Starting lineup of the future right there. Could that actually work? Would that have a chance of working?
Say the lineup again. Oh, sorry, I was sneezing.
One of Scoot or Simons,
Yeah.
Dylan Harper, Sharp, Avdia, Clingan.
Yeah, I think FD and Clingan are big enough to. I don't know if you want that, all the time, but I think.
Yeah, you'd have Kamara off the bench to sub in at the 3 as a bigger 3 that can play some defense if you need it early in a game, depending on how the game's going. But you got Clingan there as your rim protector. You can afford to go a little smaller. You got Avdia, right? And then offensively, I mean,
yeah,
you got playmakers all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You should be really able to run the court, and then Dylan Harper could maybe be your half-court star. I mean, is there? You know what's funny is I've spoken against this. Like, if you got Dylan Harper, you have to trade one of the guards. But I mean, maybe there is a world where you just make Sharp a full-time 3. Or, like, yeah, a full-time 3. And you have, like, Simons, Harper, Sharp, and then you have Scoot off the bench. And your forwards are Sharp, Avdia, Kamara, and then you got Clingan and, like, a backup center.
Yeah.
And you just run that 8-man rotation. I don't know. That sounds a lot better than having another year of DeAndre Ayton and Jeremy Grant. So, I'll take that. And then you can trade one of the guards if you need to. You can, just see what that looks like. So, I'm a Dylan Harper fan. Give me Dylan Harper. Please. I don't even feel like asking for the number 1 overall pick. That feels too greedy, okay? I would love Cooper Flag. But, just give me Dylan Harper at least.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anything else for the stream, Eric? We've been going for a while. I can't even remember because the first stream got cut off.
Yeah, got next game. We got a day off and then right back at it at home on Saturday.
Yep. So, sorry, just reading the text. I'm getting texts. Because I got clout. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just a hippie with no clout. Yeah, we'll be live. I'll be back to normal. My alter ego. What do we call this alter ego, Eric? What's my name? Say my name.
Groovy.
Groovy.
Instead of Torvy. Torvy.
Chat, what do we name this, okay? Because it's not Torrance the Timbers fan.
Glory.
Swaggy T. Garben, that... Nope. It's a little too much. Swaggy T. I feel that's not a hippie name though. Like I got to get a chain or something for that one.
Something like, you're like peace out, go Blazers, something like.
Yeah. Now I can live up to that outro for the first time ever. Trippy Jones. What's up, guys? I'm Trippy. It works. That works. Anyway, shout out BetUS for sponsoring the post game. We are out of here. We will catch you guys on Saturday. And maybe I'll switch over to OBS by then so my stream doesn't freaking crash. Because that sucks.
Is there a theme for Saturday?
Saturday's theme is... Trade ideas night. So,
Nice.
the way I was originally going to do that with a call-in, but I think the way we're going to do it, okay, in our Discord or on Twitter, maybe I'll do both, right, where you can submit them in both places. Submit a screenshot of a trade idea and give your justification for it, and then we will review it and tell you why we think it's a good trade idea or a bad trade idea. I think most of them will be bad because it's hard to come up with good trade ideas, but we will review your trade ideas on stream. I think that's a fun thing to do.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's Saturday night.
Desmond Ballard's night to shine.
Oh, man. Please don't rant at him in chat.
Well, I banned him for 24 hours last night, so he might not have figured out that he should be on ban by now. So I haven't seen him in chat tonight.
Pimp T. Interesting. T-Fly. Free love Tory. Free love. Hell yeah, brother.
One love.
Yeah. Anyway. Tori will be back on Saturday. Eric will be here again, hopefully. Hopefully those loud bangs don't come and find him. And, yeah, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night. Anything else?
Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good rest of your night. Have a good Friday. Enjoy watching the game on Saturday and hope to see you afterwards.
Yes, sir. We're out of here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.